Feet hurting, world full of busy bees working. I ain't never met a free person. I don't get along with these earthlings. Trying to speak purpose, fight for something I believe's worth it. For the curse, I'ma reverse it. I don't dream cause I sleep nervous. Yet I keep flirting, face death like Steve Irwin. Whole heat, I'm a drink thermos. The bartender keeps serving. I'm trying to be perfect, use a dirty shit to clean dirt with. Only happy when the weed burning. Traded oxygen to breathe herbs. Till I see curtains, lungs fail and they cease working. Air is something that I need urgent. Suffocating, trying to squeeze words in. What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my gotta pass next. I'm on my last quest. So much harder than my last track. Mad bless. Hope I can outlast death. Grim Reaper got my address. Down to my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Sweater shit has got me mad stressed. I inherited my dad's debt. Never got to hear his last breath. And the only reason I ain't passed yet, I'm the first ever and the last left.
I let the record show. I let the tech explode. Put up the weapon show. Call up the Texaco. Knuckles in Mexico. Call up the technical. Then know the text will blow. Shot out Plexico. Tell you the vegetable. Body electrical. Acid and alkaline. Body so flexible. The shooter's feast like a Uber Eats. Got a group of these scooter bees. While letting the Uzi Aruga speak. An American got up in Cuba eats. The powers they seek and powers the weak. They follow and creeps. Powers that be inherit the world from cowards and sheep. Get to the mountains have towers and peaks, flowers and sweets, and showered our feet. The lightning and thunder, the shower the sleep, shower the deeds. This night of verse, this our receipts.
What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath, walking the last step. I'm on the last test. Final answer and my last guess. Wonder what I gotta pass next. I'm on my last quest. So much harder than my last track. Mad bless. Hope I can outlast death. Grim Reaper got my address. Down to my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Sweater shit has got me mad stressed. I inherited my dad's debt. Never got to hear his last breath. And the only reason I ain't passed yet, I'm the first ever and the last left.
Like a track fish. I attract women, they the bad women. I'ma splash in them, leave a bag with them. Then I raise seas to be mad different. If I die now, I'm coming back in them. Cause they dad missing, but they cash dripping. Cause they royalty, so they brag different. Ain't no ass kissing, never had feelings. Seen a white victim and a black witness. Mac ripping on my last mission. Yak sipping, blowing blackism. Gat missing, he was lack slipping. Smack hit him, now we act different. Apparition, the bad vision. The Mac that chip him and crash the system. Uncle Tom, cause you that willing. Fuck the law, I'm going back to living. Astral prisms of black religions. Active. Sacrilegious, the palms of Satan. Black magicians, Babylon are racing. Raise our hands to the God we praising. Hustling, the marathon we racing. Nipsey at the finish line, he waiting.
What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath, walking the last step. I'm on the last test. Final answer and my last guess. Wonder what I gotta pass next. I'm on my last quest. So much harder than my last track. Mad bless. Hope I can outlast death. Down to my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Sweater shit has got me mad stressed. I inherited my dad's debt. Never got to hear his last breath. The first ever and the last left.
Brrr. Do, 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 do. All right, there you have it.
last breath off of that phenomenal super duper classic Holy Ghost 2 out right now. Make sure y'all go stream that. All right. Love and light to the family. Let me go ahead and take this off. Stop the screen. Woo. All right. Yeah, that track. I be wanting to put on a new song, but that track is so lit that I gotta let that ride out a little bit longer, and we gotta hit you with the video. Or we gonna switch up, but the next song that's coming is gonna be a banger for sure. All right. Yes, sir. All right, let's do this roll call. London is in the building. Shout out to the UK Massive. Charlotte is in the building. All right. Shout out to Charlotte. Blue Pill was just out there. Shout out to Blue Pill. Maybe he'll come on and pop up, but he has some very good news. Business went very well in the Charlotte area. Something that I always knew. You know, I always knew that the minute we go to North Carolina, because the ancestors are calling us, because either we have an estate, like acre, like I'm talking about, when I say estate, I don't mean 40 acres, even though you can have an estate on 4 acres, but I'm talking about like 400 acres, you know, shit like that. You know, always keep in mind, this is 2020, right? We're in 2020. And with the future, the possibilities that the future holds, we're going to touch on some of that today. But the possibilities that the future has within it is that these treaties and other things that these pilgrims or these quote unquote Europeans, you know, signed with indigenous tribes and indigenous people of indigenous bloodlines, those things are expiring soon. You know, a lot of the treaties that basically were signed during what is known as the Indian removal, right? The majority of the people who are watching the show when I do the roll call come from lands of the Indian removal, right? So I'm of the knowledge that you are those people. So in the future, what the future holds is that those lands are going to be now available for the descendants of those lands. Henceforth, why there's an effort to enslave, lock up, or put under drugs, or put into the military, or stop the bloodline of, or abort, you know what I mean, or poison and vaccinate, and all of these things to stop the heirs of these lands that these Europeans are exceeding, right? Meaning that they're basically squatting on your land. They're exceeding the land because they took the land in a way that was considered to be, what's the legal term? Coerce, what do the Moors say? That they were coerced, basically they took it in force. They were coerced and they were forced, right? Yeah, the Seminole, the Mississippian, right? The Mississippian, the majority of us on this thing is we are Mississippians, descendants of the mound builders, right? Would that be almost to what Tariq Nasheed is calling foundational Black Americans? Does that fit in that category? Does a foundational Black American, is that a new lofty term to throw in people who are foundationally in America and happen to be what people today considered Black, but back in those days were considered to be known as their tribal names? But these Mississippians, and when I say Mississippi, you might think I'm talking about Mississippi of today, right? But no, I'm talking about the Mississippian culture. And if you go and get a map, matter of fact, I'll show it, maybe on the phone. I'll pull it up on Google, but I'll show you the Mississippian cultures where, thank you for the Cash App. The Mississippian culture is the whole goddamn, is damn near, it's all in the south, is going all up and down, it's everywhere. And this land was basically the inhabitants of these lands, the quote unquote owners, the, you know what I'm saying, the people who built on these lands, these sacred lands that these mounds were on, right? Shout out to Mississippi, right? Yes, indeed. Look, Baton Rouge, everybody in roll call. As I'm talking and building with y'all, I'm going to just show you the cities. And all of these places are mound places, right? You know what I'm talking about? All of these are mound. These are all mound civilizations. So we're all connected via our ancestral connections through our bloodlines. We were part of a confederacy before, right? So these lands that we inhabited, our ancestral land, our holy land, our sacred land, right, is going to be given back to us. We're living in those days and times. That's a fact. But what we have to do in order to get the land back is know that we had the land and show and prove that it's us. So henceforth, that's why we're here today, to learn these things, right? You know, we got mounds in GA. You damn right we got mounds in GA. Huh. Ain't no more playing GA. We got mounds in GA. Matter of fact, and we put this on record, right? We put this on digital record in the year of 2010, right? On YouTube, as a matter of fact. It was me and my gang, the Woes. You know what I mean? Me and my Woes. We went to Etowah in Georgia. First, matter of fact, first it was Ghetto Shaman who set it off, right? Shout out to Ghetto Shaman out there. Ghetto Shaman is from BK, but he's in Atlanta. He's in the A, right? And Ghetto Shaman is one of the reasons why the man like Red Pill is considered to be one of the best MCs on the planet. You know, I didn't say this. This is what the streets is saying. You know what I mean? We'll let Rolling Stone tell you one day. But anyway, Ghetto Shaman, he set it off by doing a video at the mound. And I remember when we saw the video, we was like, son, where are you? And he was like, this is Etowah Mound. This is in Georgia. It's in Cartersville, right? Like 75, like I-75, 45 minutes up from I-75, going outside of Georgia, going into Cartersville. There's a whole mound civilization. There's the remnants of a mound civilization. They kept like 3 mounds or 4 mounds in this area. But you know, the whole town is built around where mound civilizations and a mound culture existed. These are your southern towns. These are your Midwestern towns. You dig what I'm saying? They when they basically criminally took the indigenous land, the sacred land, and the ancestral land of the Indians during Andrew Jackson's presidency and their onward forward, right? This is when they begin to build these cities around them. So this is why a lot of these cities are haunted. And this is why a lot of our people are still attracted to these cities. And we came back to these cities after they became cities because we were in quote unquote other places, but we were removed to those places. So we started our DNA migrated us back up and down these quote unquote places. Even the drug dealers of the 80s, when they went quote unquote down I-80 and whatnot, they were going along Indian trails. Like Cameron said, I used to get it in Ohio, right? But this is the Indian trails that we went. When you go through I-80 through New York going up, you could go all the way into goddamn Texas. That's a drug route. That's a work route. And when niggas talk about, yeah, the Hope, they call it the Hopewell Indians, right? Yeah, Etowah. Look, let me get back to the Etowah. Yes, Eagle Rock Mount Eatonton, right? So we activated through ritual, right? Through not just one visit, through multiple visits that were mystical in their intention, and I'm talking about spiritually. These were like pilgrimage. These were like pilgrimages. You feel me? It was almost like a pilgrimage. The way it happened and the way it went down. And it forever changed my frequency. It leveled me up. You know, that those visits to the mounds, the quote unquote, the days we used to go to the obelisk in Central Park that they call Cleopatra's Needle, right? And perform, right? In front of the quote unquote obelisk. This was me, Blue Pill. I said the Duke of Tears was there a few times. SKU Reyes, Black Dot came there. Brother Daoud came there one time and you know, did the ritual with us. And we were sending energy into the universe through the Tekken Nu. The Tekken is called, the Europeans call it an obelisk. It's a Tekken. And this is like a microphone. Think about a comedic power, like a battery. This a phallic symbol, right? But it's a microphone because Newt, the universe, the quote unquote, what you call the sky, but Newt, that is the quote unquote triple darkness. This is where thought is impregnated and it gives birth, and birth manifests in a physical realm. But you put your intentions into Newt, so that you utilize the Tekken Nu to do that. So here it is. We are in Central Park, late night. And if anybody ever went, you got to Google. Let me show you this so y'all can see. Because if there's 200 and somewhat people on here, then there's 6 people that probably don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So let's use technology. The title is The Evolution Will Be Digitized. So we're going to have to tap into technology, you know, before we get to that class. All right. So I'm going to go to Google and pull up what they call Cleopatra's Needle, right? And this is all, you know, this is all me giving you an inside look, or, you know, just giving you some background to some of the things that I did in my journey to get me to where I am, wherever I'm at today, wherever that may be. You know, there was a process and you had to trust the process. So I didn't just wake up like this. I didn't just get to where I'm at in this world, in this quote unquote pantheon amongst these great men and women mentioned amongst the, you know, mentioned with the names of the giants, haphazardly or by happenstance. No, there was a lot of things that went into this, you know, and one of the things was ritual. You know, even when it comes to my music and my artwork, like it was those performances at the obelisk. That shit was almost like going to Lyrical Lounge, you know, because we couldn't pull up there with some weak bars. You know, we couldn't pull up with the weak bars. All right, let me share the screen. But it gave me the confidence to say, yo, I'm gonna record this music. This shit is gonna yeah, we're gonna make some classics. All right. Cleopatra's Needle built on a ley line to my understanding. Of course it is. Cleopatra's Needle is inside of Seneca Village. Seneca Village is is what Central Park is today. But Seneca Village, right? Seneca Village is, you know, ancestral grounds in this quote unquote Manhattan, the Manhattan, the island of Manhattan is a sacred island. The island of Manhattan is a quartz crystal. It is a sacred. It's a sacred place. Henceforth, Wall Street, Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue, Broadway, Harlem, the glitz, the glamour, the money, the magic, Showtime at the Apollo, you know what I mean? The World Trade Center, the two twin pillars, right at the peak of the crystal, piezoelectricity. You have to do the research on all of these things. Go and research the Treaty of Manhattan. Go and find out how they got Manhattan, how they turned it into Manhattan, how they came and they took that whole shit with force. Okay? So that island is sacred. It's always been, and it always will be. You know what I'm talking about? And then Kings County is attached to that thing. Kings County is Brooklyn, Queens. Kings County, Brooklyn, Queens, and what you know now is Long Island. And at the tip of Long Island is ancestral sacred land where the pharaohs, that's a family surname, the pharaohs of Montauk, the Hamptons, that's all us. That's where the powwows take place. When we were young, we would go into the Hamptons and we would go to the powwows with our father and our aunts, our family and whatnot. Apply pressure to piezoelectric elements and watch them produce an electric charge. Henceforth, the train system. Henceforth, skyscrapers. Henceforth, all of the drilling and all of the building and all of the pressure that they apply to the streets in Manhattan, right? And then go and research piezoelectric elements. That's saying go and research piezoelectric elements or piezoelectricity and then put piezoelectricity Manhattan. You feel me? This is not class today. This is like preparing for class. But go and write that down, because even in the lecture that I'm going to be giving, the evolution will be digitized. People will be like, what are you talking about, Red? We're organic people. We don't do digitized. We don't do electricity. But Dr. Sebi told you that the body is electric. Dr. Sebi explained to you how the power of electricity and the fact that we live, we're in New York City. I'm broadcasting from NYC, New York City. We're going to get into the evolution being digitized and how that's going to benefit us. And we're going to answer all of those questions and help, cure all of your fears, because people fear anything that they don't understand. But think about why there's skyscrapers. Now you understand, that is not the only reason why there's skyscrapers in Manhattan, but imagine what electric charge that island has. That quartz, that island is basically quartz. And then in Seneca Village, right, we have this obelisk. This is not a replica of anything. This obelisk, right, is an actual. This is an obelisk from Kemet. Okay, that was removed and brought into Central Park. Okay, and now they call it Cleopatra's Needle. And it's north of Trump's Tower. Right? Because remember, the needle is right in the area where some of the wealthiest Europeans in society in highbrow society or in blue blood society or whatever you want to say, WASP, society, right? Because I don't want to say dominant society and I don't want to say white supremacy. You dig? Because it's not what it is. Hold on a minute. So these are the obies. This is the obelisk. All right. Let's read up on it real quick and get some information on. But let me give you some close-ups. This computer, if there's somebody from the Mac store watching this video, reach out to the to your brother, okay? Holla at your bro. I know that they got the $50,000 Mac that just came out. That's on my hit list. But I do need donations to the ministry to go ahead and secure, or if we could just have the donation secured to the KTL Empowerment Fund. We need us a speedy Mac. You know what I'm talking about? Because time is of everything. This shit's so slow, it's going to take me 10 years to do 10 classes. All right. Before north of Trump's Tower, so you see all of the inscription. You see all of the quote-unquote medunetter. All right, y'all? That's what the young boys call nowadays the sauce. And, out here in these streets, that's what the young boys call the sauce. Because those inscriptions are actually real life spells. You know what I'm talking about? Like, those inscriptions are for real. Like, once you tap in, you're tapping into some quantum shit. All right? You're tapping into something else. Okay? So let's read up on the so for the family that may not know the history. Hold on. Because it's opening up in another window. So I gotta share that. Yeah, somebody get Tim Cook on the line. Tim Cook. Yeah. Pause. Yeah, brother Red Pill. Yeah, I need a Macintosh. Yeah. Yeah, charge it to YouTube. That's right. Swipey no swiper. If you're out there, swipey no swiper. Yeah, I need a Mac. I need the $50,000 Mac. You dig? Put it on my tab. All right, let me see. Here goes the wiki. Come on, wiki. gonna be lunchtime before this shit start loading. Okay, here we go. Cleopatra's Needle in New York City is one of 3 similar named Egyptian obelisks. It was erected in Central Park, west of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in Manhattan on 22nd January 1881. It was secured in May 1877 by Judge Elbert E. Farman, the United States Consul General at Cairo, as a gift from the Khedive for the United States remaining a friendly neutral as the European powers, France and Britain, maneuvered to secure political control of the Egyptian government. You know, with translation, we stole that shit when we invaded and gave it to y'all for your help. You know, this is part of this invasion time. Made of red granite, the obelisk stands about 21 meters, weighing about 200 tons, and is inscribed with Egyptian hieroglyphs. It was originally erected in the Egyptian city of Heliopolis on the orders of Thutmose III in 1475 BC. The granite was brought from the quarries of Aswan, near the first cataract of the Nile. The inscriptions were added about 200 years later by Ramses II to commemorate his military victories. So it's a war. It's basically a tekken of war, right? It's a tekken of war. The obelisk will move to Alexandria and set up in the Kazuram, a temple built by Cleopatra in honor of Mark Antony or Julius Caesar by the Romans in 12 BC during the reign of Augustus, but were toppled sometime later. They were toppled. This had the fortuitous effect of burying their faces and so preserving most of the hieroglyphs from the effects of weathering. The original idea to secure an Egyptian obelisk for New York City came from March 1877 New York City newspaper accounts of the transporting of the London obelisk. The newspapers mistakenly attributed to a Mr. John Dixon the 1869 proposal of the Khedive. I know I'm pronouncing this wrong. It how it's spelled. The Khedive of Egypt, Mehmet Ali Pasha, to give the United States the remaining Alexandria obelisk as a gift for So I guess this is the Arab invasion, you know, the Muslims and whatnot, and their desecration of Kemet, you know, their disregard and the fact that they were invaders of that land. You know, they trade in with the Europeans and whatnot, you know, just divvying up the spoils. Mr. Dixon, the contractor who in 1877 arranged the transport of the London obelisk, denied the newspaper accounts. However, in March 1877, Commissioner of Department of Public Parks of the City of New York undertook to secure the funding to transport the obelisk to New York. However, when railroad magnate William H. Vanderbilt was asked to head the subscription, he offered to finance the project with a donation of over 100 racks. All right. So these are the obelisks. This is the translations of the Meduneter according to Hiawas. You know, the dude that they have that looks over the stolen treasury in Egypt, right? So the crown Horus, bull of victory, arising in Thebes, the lord of the vulture and Uraeus, crowns prolonged as to kingdom. I told you we were there with a brother named King Uraeus, right? Even as the sun in the heavens, by turn, Lord of unbegotten, son of his loyons, who have been fashioned by thought, whom they created in the great temple with the perfections of their flesh, knowing what he was to perform, kingdom prolonged through ages, king of upper and lower Egypt, Men Kepara, Thutmose the third, loving Tum, the great God, with his cycle of divinities, who giveth all life staying away like the sun forever. You know what I'm talking about? So imagine the energy that's resonating from that obelisk. You feel me? Imagine the energy that's on that obelisk. And these Europeans, they tap into this obelisk on occasion. I ain't even gonna tell you the shit that we saw when we used to go to the Metropolitan Museum. Google the Egyptian collection in the Metropolitan Museum. That's one of the most detailed collections of stolen artifacts. And, it's all stolen artifacts at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't have nobody from the dynasties give it to them. They stole that shit. Whatever government signed it off, either they took it from them or the government that signed it off, it wasn't theirs to begin with. So, and by the way, the other obelisk, it's in London and it's in the Vatican. Okay? It's in London and it's in Rome and it's in New York City. And in New York City is right around Fifth Avenue, right in the 80s and whatnot, where all of the townhouses, with all of these super uber wealthy, Europeans, the Guggenheim Museum, the Natural History Museum on the other side, Fifth Avenue, that corridor of Fifth Avenue, Central Park, all of that. So this is on a lane line on an energy grid right behind a museum where all of the collections of Kemet lay, and they do mass rituals inside of that museum. And they also do mass rituals at the needle, at Cleopatra's Needle. So you got to go and tap into the energy and claim it. You feel me? You got to claim that energy. You cannot allow somebody to just put an actual artifact from the land of your ancestors in the city that you live in, and you don't tap into it. That makes no sense whatsoever. That sounds goofy to me. So we go up in that thing and we claim that. We tap into the energy that's there for everybody to tap into, because the needle is not biased. So while they shooting needles in their arm, we in Central Park, shooting energy into the needle, and the needle is shooting that into the universe, and the universe is raining manna. Because I promise you, we tapped in. I promise you, we tapped in. That shit opened up portals. You know what I'm talking about? I was able, we opened up portals. We opened up portals to the point that I'm living in 2020. I'm living in my conversation. I'm living in not just my conversation. I'm living in Asida Dukatir's conversation, A.A. Rashid's conversation, Blue Pill's conversation, Law 44, A.A. Rashid's conversation, the Kabbalah God, and the fact that he came and he was talking about the aesthetics of the culture and the lifestyle. I seen him write it on a piece of paper. The shit that I'm seeing these days. Blue Pill with the Law 44, how he went and talked about certain artists like Jay-Z, Kanye, and certain people in 2010 before Trayvon Martin, before these people were considered to be woke. Because like I broke down in my lecture, that I want to, first of all, humbly, first and foremost, how rude of me, right? How rude of me that I let it get 39 minutes into the show and I did not give thanks to the 100 plus supporters of last Thursday's Third Eye Thursday, KTL University online class. I want to say first and foremost, I am humbled. I want to give a resounding ashe, and I want to give a resounding I love you to all of my students. I love you for believing in me. I love you for supporting me. I love you for being in class and soaking up that information, you know, and I love you for being patient, because with all great things come technical difficulties, especially in the quote unquote the metrograde. That's what niggas in New York call it. You know, when the hood gets consciousness, they start coming up with their own lexicons. So niggas in Harlem be like, "Hey yo, Red Pill, tell me about the metrograde." I'm like, "Beloved, excuse me." They're like, "The metrograde, you upset I had my metro card and shit wouldn't work." So I'm like, you know, I keep swiping and swiping, and they like, "Nigga, it's a metrograde." And yeah, you know what I'm talking about? I went to go get the retro Jordans, and they were sold out. So I said it had to be the retrograde. Tell me, Red, is it the retrograde? You know, I'm like hood Google in the, I'm like hood Google in the hood on the nigger net. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be asking me hood Google questions. Hold on, screen is frozen. What is this, my friend? No. Why is my screen frozen? Do y'all see a frozen screen? Okay, my screen is frozen, but yours is not.
Okay, my screen is frozen.
Well, my screen is frozen, so I'm just waiting for it to unfreeze. You know what I mean? So I can see myself as I'm talking. But anyway, yeah, everything that I just said, you dig? There's a lot of ritual that goes into what we know as the United States of America, the way that a lot of these structures are set up. Once you begin to dig into the information and you start decoding things, once you begin to unravel the mystery, the great mystery, and to be honest with you, the great mystery, in my humble opinion, is the quote unquote, you know, what we see as the hidden history about not just the United States of America, but the inhabitants of the United States of America. You know, the people who live here, the people who inhabit the land. You know, the great mystery is that a lot of the people that inhabit the land own the land, are descendants of the land, are rightful you know, descendants and quote unquote title holders of not just the land, but the by way of blood, because the bloodlines are tied to the quote unquote treaties, you know, and you got to have faith. You have to have faith in who you are. You got to have faith in the power of your tribe. You got to have faith in the power of your ancestors. You got to have faith in the spirit of this land. You got to have faith in the power of the quote unquote of righteousness, of truth prevailing. And then you push that truth. And when you push that truth, then you will see that truth to begin to reveal itself. So the more of us who are waking up from the confusion of the great mystery, remember the great mystery, they put us to sleep They put us to sleep. They removed us off of our ancestral lands. We were tied to our ancestral lands by way of the mounds and our mound culture. If you would desecrate the mound, or if you were to kill the chief, then you would be, it's a wrap. That land, or those people who are tied to that land, were considered to be to lose power. You know what I mean? Their power would begin to dissipate. They would not, they were that connected to their ancestors, and that's what you begin to see during the quote unquote Trail of Tears, and even in the Indian Wars and whatnot, and everything that followed after that. And these lands are cursed right now because those land, the people, the quote unquote indigenous people of those lands are still suffering on those lands because those people don't have any ownership. They don't have any, they don't have no benefit from the lands. They don't even have the benefit of the crops that grow on those lands. They can't even sell marijuana. They can't sell hemp. You feel me? They can't sell anything. Why they can't sell it? I can't say that they can't, because that would discredit those that look like me and you that are doing it. So I'm not going to say that they can't. I'm going to say that very few are have been able to do it at the time at this time, and there are a lot more who who should be able to break into the quote unquote resources of the Mississippian valleys. Let's go ahead and Google the Mississippian valleys real quick, because we need to know these things. We need to break these spells. I promise you, these are the spells that got a lot of people confused. At this from a place where they were being victimized, or antebellum slavery, or I just know I'm spelling that shit wrong. All right, Mississippi. Okay. So you see that red dot, right? You see that thing that says Mississippi. Right? That's Mississippi on Wikipedia. Okay. Welcome to Mississippi. Right? Jackson, Mississippi. The Mississippi River. Right? See the Mississippi River? Now let's go to Mississippi. Is it blurry? Let me see something. Oh, it's blurry. Hold on. Let me fix that. I didn't even know. Is that good? Is that I fixed the fuzziness. I don't know what that's about. my brother, my sister. Ooh. We're gonna stop the share. Let's stop the share. We're gonna stop the share, and then we're gonna do it again, guys. All right, we're gonna share this again because I need y'all to see this. Let's try it this way. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, it's back on? Okay. All right. Okay, okay. All right. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're gonna surf through it all, guys. I'm gonna troubleshoot. I'm at the Genius Bar, guys. So it's good. It's good. This shit is like this is like Tank and Dozer. This is right. Like picture the Nebuchadnezzar going through the Matrix, or picture Jada Pinkett and Lawrence Fishburne on the Nebuchadnezzar Express. And when you go on YouTube, this is the new. This is like this is that, because the technical difficulties that they start throwing at you. You feel me? That's like how they were going through shit when they were in Nebuchadnezzar. You know what I mean? The trolls and whatnot, those are the sentinels. All right, let's get back to this lesson. All right, so boom. As you can see with the Mississippian Valley, that this is a lot different than what is modern day Mississippi. Mississippi. Shout out to David Bannon with the Mississippi tag. All right, the Mississippian culture was a mound building Native American civilization that flourished in what is now the Midwestern, Eastern, and Southeastern United States from approximately 800 to 1600, varying regionally. It was composed of a series of urban settlements and satellite villages, suburbs, linked together by loose trading networks. The largest city was Cahokia, believed to be a major religious center. The Mississippian way of life began to develop in the Mississippi River Valley, for which it is named. Cultures in the tributary Tennessee River Valley may have also begun to develop Mississippian characteristics at this point. Almost all dated 1940, when Hernando de Soto explored the area, with notable exceptions being Natchez communities that maintain Mississippian cultural practices into the 18th century. And what have we been breaking down about Natchez? The Natchez is one of the major slave trading ports in this whole slavery thing, where slaves from Mississippi, from ancient Egypt, that people are calling Egypt, and the Mississippi, the river that the people are calling it now, when they were shipping slaves, when they were shipping prisoners of war, when they were shipping captives, right? Up and down into the other areas that the colonies, quote unquote, had plantations and whatnot. They were selling, and these merchants were even shipping these people to Europe. These are mound builders. A lot of people who like, my ancestors came from Mississippi. They're talking about this Mississippi. And their ancestors are in big cities like Chicago, right? Los Angeles, and all of these other places. But they don't know that their people were part of the quote unquote Trail of Tears and the Indian removal. And the Mississippi that they're referring to is not that small piece of land called Mississippi today, but it's actually referring to ancient native Aboriginal American building, right? Mound building giants, people with big mound builder builds, right? Mound builders, some of the main states of mound builders are where they recruit the NFL, is where they recruit to the army, right? The Marines and shit, right? The infantry, the armed forces, right? These are some of the places that they get their power players from. mound builders, because the mounds, when they excavated the mounds, they excavated skeletons that were giant skeletons of giants, and they also were excavating bones that were quote unquote heavy. These were mound builder, big broad bones, big gigantic bones, strong bones. These are our mound builders, right? These are the warriors that they could not fight. These are the ones who were able to shoot bows and arrows. They said that these mound builders were so powerful that they could shoot an arrow and the shit could go straight through a tree, an oak tree. And they were like shooting arrows the size of trees and whatnot. They were shooting arrows that were like logs. And it was piercing the iron. It was piercing the armor. It was piercing the quote unquote shields of the European infantry who were coming in, like, remember, because they were coming into the equivalent of being in a tank against the native armies and whatnot, when these Europeans had on body armor, suits of armor, knights of armor and whatnot. But you had quote unquote Indians who was bodying that shit. They was breaking through all that. They was breaking through all of that. You know, these were formidable foes, in most of these tribes. Okay? Yeah, East St. Louis. That's the Cahokia. East St. Louis, right? East St. Louis, where if you go now, you will see the descendants of the quote-unquote indigenous ones. You could tell by the phenotype. You could tell by the structure of the quote-unquote phenotype of the people. You could see it in them. You could see it in their aura, right? Look at this. South Appalachian, Mississippian, right? So this is what we're talking about. This is what was taken. This is what they robbed. This is what is coming back. These are the places where a lot of quote unquote tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes. You know what I'm talking about? These are some of the places where these are murder capitals. These are some of the places where the oil is in the land, where it's mineral rich, resource rich. These are some of the places where the gangs come out, because the gangs are a reflection of the Confederacy and the tribes and whatnot. It's just the same thing, but everybody's gang. But it's the same thing. We were gang back then. We was clicked up back then. We was tribal back then. We was Confederates back then. We was forming one nations back then. To this day, we was doing that. So the fact that we doing it now is no surprise. The fact that these movements, the drill movement, the quote unquote gang movements, the red and the blue movement, the 5 and the 6 and the 4, they banging 4, 5, and 6 in these streets. You know what I'm talking about? That shit goes back to these cultures. I told you, when I went to LA and I went to when I went to Nipsey's funeral in the Staples Center, and I was in there, and it was a sea of blue, a sea of Crips. I saw a phenotypical narrative that was like, yo, why a lot of those Crip brothers look like they got ancient ancestry in their blood. They look like Indians, right? They got Indian hair. You know what I'm talking about? Think about Nipsey. Think about Snoop. Think about Tuki. They have what is known as the Indian look, the phenotype, the cheekbones. You know what I'm saying? Look at the phenotype. Don't talk to me about nothing else. Let's just get into the phenotypical narrative. In New York City, the majority of the people who are Crippin', they are of ancestry of the islands. They are Indians. They are native. They're into the Caribbean culture. Why is that? Why is that? When I saw, I'm like, yo, this is a tribal war. This is a war that been taking place, because remember, there was even, when you get into the history about the Khalifa invasion, the Europeans brought the Africans with them, In some instances, there was Africans there, but the Europeans when the Europeans invaded, they brought Africans with them, and those Africans had to fight with the Europeans against the Indian tribes and the African Khalifa tribes of Khalifa in the West. In the West, so they was banging on them back then. So there was a friction that took place when the European showed up with their peons, right? And they went against the original inhabitants of that mineral rich, because that was a gold rush, because that land had gold in it. These were lands of gold. These were cities of gold. We about to have a smoke break. There were cities of gold. In the American, the Europeans came with their Indian, quote unquote, trader. The Indians that were the trader tribes who were riding into the sunset with them, right? They were riding, and then they had the Buffalo Soldiers. They had Africans riding with them too. They had mulattoes rolling with them too. They had their sons rolling with them too, who they deputized. They had white slaves rolling with them too, who they promised booty. Yo, you could fuck the women. I'm being graphic, but that's what they said. Yeah, that part. Facts. You know what I'm talking about? And that's who they was riding with. That's what their armies was composed of. Don't think that it was an all-white army, because that's not what it was. That's not what it was. They wasn't just rolling. It wasn't a white and black thing when they were taking America, when they were taking the land, when they were committing atrocities and genocide, and they were holocausting the tribes of copper tone. Look at the copper. This is copper. Okay? You don't got to pull out pennies no more, my nigga. Get you some copper. Get you some copper drip. So you can understand, yeah, this is what we look like. We were this complexion. These are the tribes. They were of this complexion. You know what I'm saying? And darker. Right? Not the fucking Dawes Indians. Because in genetic bleaching, it only takes 3 generations to be European again. It only takes 3 generations to Europeanize somebody's family to where the baby got blonde hair. So don't talk to me about what you see as an Indian today. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ones that got removed, completely removed off of their land, completely cleaned off of their land, swept off of their land, and removed into all other places. And niggas sent them to Kentucky and Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, right? And scattered them, right? And scattered them. And then later on in life, these people's DNA kicked back in and they came back home, right? They came back to their homes. And then some of them stayed where they was at and built their own civilizations there. Or you have these cities that have our people in them now. So I'm just showing you, when they say the Mississippian culture, what they're talking about, right? It's all of this. So this is Andrew Jackson. These are your $20 bills that we should burn. You know what I mean? We'll do it together. You ain't gonna have me do it first. But these $20 bills, they say give the Jacksons to wifey. Don't even give them to wifey. We gotta put them shits in a fund and do something with them, because I don't even want 20s in my wallet no more. Because Andrew Jackson was a Hitler. He was a Hitler type. He was a Hitler type. And so is Jefferson. These are wicked men. Okay? These are some wicked fucking Satanists. So we should not honor these people at all. Do not fall for the trickery. Don't have your fucking child reciting, you know what I mean, the names of these pilgrims, and these pilgrims are these pilgrims are responsible for, you know, your quote unquote your ancestors. You know, when people ask what's the reason why we're in this predicament, or you know, what happened to make our people fall so low, or why is the spell so thick, or why are our people so cursed? Everybody has their own, you know, truths to discover. But in my discovery, because I can't speak for nobody, I'm not in that position to speak for near nigga or near naga or near negoose. I'm not in that position. I speak for myself though. And what I will say is what I've discovered is that the reason why we find ourselves in these positions is because of the people that are in position. Plain and simple. In the position that they put themselves in versus in the positions that they put us in. You know, trading places, like the movie show with you, Eddie Murphy. They traded places. They traded places. You know what I'm talking about? They traded places. They switched places with us. They were the slaves and we were the masters. Now we the slaves and they the masters. You know what I'm talking about? They was on a run when they was in Florida. Now they got niggas on the run in Florida. You know? They were visitors in Florida. Now we out there visiting Florida. We all up in Disney World visiting a mouse. But they had to come and visit Florida. They had to come and visit the Everglades. They had to come and see the majestic beauty of the land of flowers. They were visitors and they couldn't stay after dark. You know what I'm saying? And they couldn't fuck with the Seminoles. They couldn't fuck with niggas in Florida. They couldn't fuck with niggas in they couldn't fuck with the Nagas. They couldn't fuck with the tribes. They couldn't fuck with the quote unquote the confederacies. You know, they couldn't fuck with the warriors that were in the quote unquote land of flowers. They just couldn't. They just couldn't. They couldn't get in them swamps. You know what I mean? They couldn't go through that terrain. They just couldn't. They couldn't keep up. So now, when you go to Florida, everywhere that you go to Florida, our people are being subjugated by the Spaniards, because the Spaniards set up in St. Augustine. Henceforth, why Cuba is what Cuba is, why Miami is with the Cubans, you know, that's by design. That's by design. If those Cubans that reside in Miami had it their way, the quote unquote black people in Cuba would be they would be subjected by like niggas in Liberty City, you know, by them and their governments, because the Cubans basically run Miami. They're living high on the hog. That's their paradise. That's their kingdom. That's their kingdom in exile. They got a kingdom in exile, you know, and based off of what was done during those cocaine cowboy days, you know, these people they're in a political position, right? They're in a power position to dictate law and to subjugate. And they doing that religiously. You know what I'm talking about? And like I said, America has an insatiable appetite to conquer Cuba. So, you know, you always have to keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. You know, and always send love and light to the powerful brothers and sisters on that spiritual island, that revolutionary island of Cuba, that African island. That's an island of power. That's an island of power, right? That is an island of power, you know, that we should all, if we get a chance, visit one day. You know, got to get on your global travel Maybe not this month. You know, this corona shit is it's gonna slow down, right? It's gonna slow down travel. Hold on. I hit you back after my live. Okay? Yeah, I hit you back. So yeah, the corona virus scare is getting louder by the day, right? We're all riding on this train together, right? And we're all witnessing, you know, this theater unfold. Okay. What I'm going to say to the whole coronavirus scare or fiasco is listen to KT the Arch Degree. Look, thought you was going to China. Well, I'm glad that I didn't go. I'm glad that I didn't go. I want to get out of North America, go to South America. That's motherland to me. That's my Africa. Okay. You could go. And the flight tickets are declining, right? There's an oil war. The oil prices are declining. I'm going to show you something about what took place over the weekend with the oil industry. So every industry has failed. So at this point, it's not about the coronavirus. At this point, it's about what the coronavirus is doing to the economic system. And we know that that's going to have more of a negative effect in our everyday lives than the actual virus, you know, affecting us, right? If we're able to, you know, if we're able to withstand a chemical war that, you know, that may be waged against the people by the government, you know, and their allies, right? Tickets are dirt cheap. Okay. You know, so what we're looking at now, right? What we're looking at now, hold on, because I got to show you something. What we're looking at now, where's my wallet? Give me a minute. But what we're looking at now is an economic crisis. We have to be prepared because things are about to change. Things are about to change. Things are changing as we sit here and speak this morning. One of the reasons why I didn't want to do a late show, I have a few reasons why I don't want to do a late show tonight. But one of the main reasons why I didn't want to do a late show is because, you know, there's a lot of information that we need to know today, not tonight, like right now, because, you know, it's not anything to panic about, but this is information that we should be definitely concerned about at this time that we find ourselves, because we have to talk about what the future holds, right? And the part that we're going to be playing in it. And not only the part that we're going to be playing in it, but also, right, what part could we have in tapping into the power of the now, right? Because we're not victims, and at the moment, we're not negatively affected by anything. So at the moment, we have what is known as opportunity. And if we deny that, then we're just denying ourselves. And there's nothing that I could do to, change that or help a person in that situation. That's on them. But for the most part, those who can see that there's opportunity, they will say to themselves, well, what should we be Yeah. All right, all right. I don't even know where we left off because I don't know when y'all stop hearing this. But what I want to say is that we are in precarious times. This is not time to panic, but this is time to utilize the opportunity of time, right? So we have to secure economics first and foremost before anything. And we have to do it as a collective because we cannot do it as an individual, not now. Maybe yesterday, but today is now, not now. Now is going to take a concerted effort of a collective so we can create something and we can have something. So we don't have to, um, we don't have to suffer from being unprepared. I was saying that we need information right now. Okay. I was saying something about opportunity. Okay. So what I was saying is that right now, the now that we were in, right? The now that we are in, we have to take advantage of that now, right? We have to take advantage of that now. The opportunity for us, right? The opportunity for us to protect ourselves financially, it exists. There are options to take your cash and to turn it into gold or cash or gold dollars. That opportunity exists. You have that option to do that now. For the people who are tapping into their tax money, you have the opportunity to quote unquote secure land. You have the opportunity to secure crops. You have the opportunity to secure weapons. You have the opportunity to secure food. You have the opportunity to secure, you can secure yourselves outside of America. Give me 1 minute, y'all. Let me text my brother real quick. Not my brother Blue Pill, a brother who can explain some stuff. About these gold dollars. I want to bring an expert. I'm going to introduce you to somebody who could give you some information to explain to you, you know, how you could protect yourself financially going into the future by changing your dollars, which are going to be worthless in a very near future, into gold, or what is known as paper gold, gold money, right? Cash gold. Gold at the moment is having its biggest rise ever since 2008. Okay? And we were talking about the gold money months ago to the family, but we just didn't push it to the family because we were doing so many other things, right? And I'm even I was procrastinating. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with myself. I won't even act like I was out here stacking my gold and flipping money that I had into gold, because when you think about it, if I'm sitting on a whole bunch of racks, it makes sense that I'm gonna turn a few of those racks into gold to secure the dollar if it were to fall, or I'm going to secure money into inventory. Goes out of value, that the inventory that I use the fiat to secure will be worth more in the future. These are the kind of contingency plans that we should be focusing our minds on as a collective right now. Right now. I don't want to be distracted. The US dollar is backed by the US military. Well, the Chinese government, okay? The Chinese government, right, has a lot to do the Chinese government has a lot to do with those notes. Okay? Of course, buying gold is definitely an option. Buying gold straight up. I recommend that you buy gold before you get carat bars. Let's not confuse ourselves, right? And let's not say let's not be under the illusion that I'm even promoting carrot bars as the only solution. I'm not promoting it as the only solution, but what I'm promoting it as is a solution that could be implemented in the now. Okay, it is a solution that could be implemented in the now, along with other solutions. So we will definitely have a panel, because one of the wonders of the quote unquote internet, and the fact that I upgraded my subscription to this site today, StreamYard, this quote unquote platform. I upgraded my subscriptions so I could do even more. I'm broadcasting to about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm broadcasting to Twitter, to my Periscope. I'm broadcasting to Facebook. I'm broadcasting to another Facebook page, and I'm broadcasting to 2 of my YouTube channels all at the same time. So I'm tapping into the technology. So for Goddess Affiliate Network, I want to bring you on a panel. I'm going to have a panel where it'll be about 6 of us, and all 6 of us will discuss the digital opportunities, the cryptocurrency opportunities that exist, right? We will tap into that. So Chicago Crypto Hustler, I'm going to definitely holler at you, and I want you to build with me so we could build about what is the other quote unquote solutions that exist right now, so we could all have a proper vetted solution that has been vetted amongst our think tank, because that's what this is about. So the fact that the engagement is taking place is a positive, because through engagement is where we'll find our solutions. Everything got to get put through the ringer. Everything got to get put through the ringer. You dig? Everything got to get put through the ringer. So that's what it's going to be. You know what I mean? That's what it's going to be. No, we're going to talk today on crypto. We're going to talk today. All right. And whatever we develop, whatever we come up with, that's what we're going to move with in 2 more weeks. Because this upcoming Thursday, I'm going to do a regular Third Eye Thursday. And then we're going to continue our KTL University next Thursday. Okay? We're going to continue next Thursday. And we're going to take this week to still promote the lecture that we just did. Because what I don't want to do is jump from week to week, and then we completely forget about the information that was disseminated the week before. We don't explore that. We don't unpack that. We don't let that shit breathe, and we don't let it resonate. And we when it comes to this topic of the evolution will be digitized, there's going to have to be a lot more research than just 1 week of research, because theoretically I will only have 3 days to really do some deep research, and I owe it to y'all to do more than that. So for now, we're going to be doing classes on a bi-monthly basis every 2 weeks. So that gives the family time to absorb the information. For anybody who did not make it to our class last Thursday, let me show you. Let me take you to this trailer real quick. All right. Shout out to Crumb TV. All right. Shout out to Crumb TV. But if you did not make it to class, don't worry. We have it on video on demand. It is 5 hours and change. You could watch it straight through or in segments. You dig? You could listen to it on the way home in the car. You could listen to it while you cook. You could listen to it while you're chilling in the crib because your whole town is quarantined. What if you lived in Italy? You know what I'm talking about? Coronavirus. right? Korea slammed with the coronavirus. Koreans don't like us. China being slammed with the coronavirus. China don't like us. Interesting. Interesting. Italy, Rome being slammed with the coronavirus. Italy don't like us. Matter of fact, nigga, Italy is Rome. So Korea, where they out here selling us wigs and, you know, being mad negative toward the Koreans, right? Those people that don't like us. Oh, the Chinaman. You mean the one that's in the islands? It's in Africa. They don't like us? That one? Oh, shit. Oh, in Italy? Shit. Where else? California? Oh, man. Who got it? Who? Oh, white people. Oh, shit. That's messed up. That's not good. So I don't know what to say about the coronavirus. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know, because the trajectory of the corona, I don't know. I'm listening to what I'm hearing, what the universe is showing us in the beginning, because I'm paying attention to how this shit starts. It might end up differently, you know? It might end up differently. But the way that it's starting, it's hitting a lot of places that, oh, it's in Iran. Oh, man. Iran got it. Oh, you mean the Persians? Oh, man. Shit. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. While I won't wallow in anybody's perceived pain, because I don't even know, you know, the perceived pain, because I don't, to be honest with you, have you seen a video of anybody with coronavirus? Like, have you seen a snuff video of a person with this alleged, give me 1 minute, y'all. I'm trying to load this damn video up. Shit is resisting me. Have you seen a video? You know, the same way that they show you video of black people dying on the internet every day, or people getting knocked out cold where they on the ground shaking and pissing on themselves? Have you seen some, like how they showed you the video of the 15-year-old boy stomping out a black girl? Y'all seen the video of people with it? Because I haven't. I haven't seen the people with it. I seen Chinese people spraying niggas, right? I seen people with masks on. I seen people in hospital beds with tubes on them. I seen people with white suits on. But I didn't see nobody with that shit, though. I did not see nobody with the shakes. I didn't see nobody with the convulsion. I didn't see it. I didn't see nobody face melting. Not yet. And when I brought this up to my brother, Blue, he was like, yeah, you know, Chinese media is real strict because they censor the outgoing content. I said, I get it. But they just told me that niggas in China, niggas in Italy got it. They just told me that people in, Iran got it. They said people in South Korea got it. You feel me? Somebody got to be responsible to leak some videos of somebody.